closer? You want to grab a mic?
Maybe you should sit and I should stand, and then we'll be about the same height. Not the same weight, but the same height. At least.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Reverend Donnell.
I was kidding.
Huh? To be back home. It definitely feels like home. And I think even for all our new family and friends that are here, it feels like home, whoever you are, when you come here. And what a blessing to have that type of space here. And for me, it's a blessing to be here with my brother Daniel, because he's really actually the seed, one of the important seeds in my journey to come back to music, actually. And I kind of quit music in 2008. But one of my close friends, two of my close friends in San Francisco, on the way back to the airport, dropping me off to Oakland Airport, they said, here, we want to gift you an album. And it was Daniel's Water album. For those of you that have not heard this, please let it be a part of your life. I stopped listening to music in India when I moved there. I've been living in India for the last 9 years. And I was only listening to Sufi music, which is a form of very devotional music, but I don't even understand Urdu or Hindi, so I never even understand the words. I just feel the spirit. So I stopped listening to English written and spoken music and sung music. This was the first album that I kind of, when I heard a few of the songs, I was like, wait, this is what I would love to practice, what these words are, and what these songs are saying. And for the next 2 years, I think pretty much Daniel's Water album was the only thing in rotation in my MP3 player. And that triggered a lot for me to try to, it's one thing to listen, but then I was like, how do I practice this? Really tough to practice spirituality. But the songs give you inspiration. And it really gave me inspiration to try to keep walking on this path. It's a long journey. And there was a blessing of a moment where then I started, I was working with a group of kids. We had the blessings of taking these children along around the world on a tour for a show that we had created. And as we were coming to LA, through a bunch of synchronicities, I don't think we have enough time to share the full story, but I reached out
He's being modest, by the way, which is his nature. But when he says working with kids, he means he created a school. Created a school in India. And,
I didn't really agree, but yeah.
Co-created a school in India in which 16 children from slums, essentially, in Ahmedabad in India, were they attending school at all at the time?
Some of them are, yeah.
Okay. And he created a school where not only do they teach academic subjects, but the arts, daily acts of kindness. Yes?
Yeah.
Right.
Can I continue?
In a second. So this tour that he casually mentions was not a simple thing, right? It was 16 kids who had never been outside of India. It was visas, it was sponsors, it was chaperones, and it was performing venues all over the United States who wanted to meet these kids and see not only their show, but to feel what they were about. And he was talking about these shows in an interview, I believe on Nipun's website, that someone forwarded to me because he referred to me as an obscure singer-songwriter that no one had ever heard of,
That's what Nipun referred to you.
on an album that no one had ever bought. And the one copy that existed of this album, Nimo listened to. Now, yes, you can continue.
Thank you. As you can see, Daniel was right at the peak of his career as a comedian, but then he's like, music makes me a few more bucks, so I'm going to go that route. So I reached out to Dan. We were performing, our kids were performing at Nisha's school in South Central LA, and we were very blessed to have that. Asked him, would you mind joining our kids? And literally on the stage in a circle of prayer was the first time I had a chance to meet Daniel, because he said yes. And that was the kind of point where we became brothers pretty much instantaneously, and had a chance to then, as our friendship grew and I had this itch and urge to write music again, his Planting Seeds song, which I'm sure most of you have heard, one of the most amazing songs, I asked him, like, would you mind me, I'm a hip hop artist, so I'm like, would you mind doing like a remix or something to this? And
I get asked by hip hop artists all the time. They all want to remix my folk songs. I don't understand it. So I'm like, well, yeah, just another hip hop
Yeah.
remix of Planting Seeds. Sure. You know, there's 100 of them. We'll see if we come up with something different. I doubt it. Yes, go on.
But most musicians are not so open to like, oh yeah, take my music. Let's.
Is that really true?
I don't think so. But you were very open and warm about it, and we ended up getting the studio. And as we're making the beat, he's like, I've never done this before. How do you make a hip hop beat? But he made it, and that was the beginning of our journey. And we got to write a few songs together. But it's a blessing, and I just wanted to share that because the first song we wanted to share is called "Planting Seeds." But anything you want to add?
No, let's do it. Let's do the song. Let's do the only
Hip hop.
remix of one of my songs ever.
This song is called "Planting Seeds."
Want to stand up?
I spent a long time running. I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. Plant the seeds, then we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Nothing
It's like your whole life you've been training for this moment. And when the time comes, you just disown it. Meaning you just surrender, don't control it. Not interested in the clay pots and mold and sitting next to your path trying to unfold it. Or waiting for the fruits to fall down towards you. Let it go and now you're flowing, feeling quite gorgeous. You take steps away instead of towards it. What a rush, feeling freedom with nothing to hold. We've been taught that what you touch will always turn to gold. But now we're learning when we let it go, it overflows with no credit to take. Cause no credit is owned. A higher power work deeper when the seeds are sowed. When the seeds are true, they're seeds of gold. But the real gold is joy when life starts to flow. When it does, you just smile, cause now you know. I spent a long time running, never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. Plant the seeds, then we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows
Yep,
will grow.
when it grows, it grows.
Whatever dies will die.
If it dies, it dies, come on.
Works will
When it works, it works.
Whatever flies
Yep,
will
let it fly, let it fly.
Whatever fails will fail.
Fails, it
What's
fails.
meant to soar will soar.
Come on, let it
I
soar.
am planting seeds. Whatever grows
Yep,
will grow.
let it grow, let it grow.
Whatever dies will die.
If it dies, it dies, come on.
Works will
And when it works, it works.
Whatever flies
Woo!
will
Let it fly, let it
Whatever
fly.
fails will
If
fail.
it fails, it
Meant
fails.
to soar will soar.
Come on, let it
I
soar.
am
We're planting seeds and nothing more. Where is this? It's always synchronicity, but a friend of mine from the Bay Area just forwarded me an email today with a quote. It says, "Every farmer who plants a seed takes a risk. And we work through faith that the good deeds we do are to put down the roots. The roots are invisible, but they sustain plants that may not give fruits for a while. How lovely is this planting the seeds of love." So I just thought it was quite synchronous. Thank you all. I wanted to share a song called To My People, but before I wanted to kind of share an intention of, for me, what that song means. And we all are surrounded by community. And it might be a community of one, it might be a community, it might be a pet, it might be family, friends, but we're constantly being supported, invisibly and visibly. And To My People is an ode to that, is an ode to the fact that we are all little hubs with spokes and people that are holding us, families, friends that are holding us. It's really amazing how impossible it is to live isolated. And we are so interdependent. I remember 4 years ago when I was releasing this Empty Hands album, or when I was printing it, and I was talking to Dad, and I swiped my credit card to print the albums. It was quite expensive. And I said, Dad, I don't want to charge for these. I can't charge for these albums. And my dad has always been my practical side, which I think I've needed along my journey. I don't need a practical side. It's a good anchor. That's what parents do sometimes, right? But I was like, I don't want to charge for that. I can't charge. I'm talking about this message, this message. For me, it didn't make sense at that time. He's like, but how are you going to pay for these 5,000 albums you just printed? I said, I don't know. I have faith. It's my experiment. And I'm sure it'll all work out. And as the journey unfolded, I toured for 7 months that year. And every step of the way, some form of support came in that kept telling me, like, just focus on the intention and everything will work out. And signs came from unexpected places. And financially, it was just not even an issue. It got supported almost like, for that first batch at least, it got supported within like 2 months. And it wasn't even about that after that. That whole intellectual discussion I was going through about finances, about this and that, it shifted to just focus on why you're doing this. There's no other reason that you care to spread a positive message through the music and let this be a small instrument and focus on that. It has nothing else for you at this point. And it once again, family, friends, community proved to me that it always works out if your intention is pure. So to me, this song is really about that we have relationships with all different types of beings, and for us to focus on those relationships, focus on the purity of those relationships. And we don't even know the fruits, the beautiful fruits that come from that. But I really want to thank all the community that has supported me and that support each and every one of us, because those are our noble friends that keep us going. So this song is called To My People. And you guys can join along, and Dan too, please. It's very simple. Just to my people. That's it. Here we go. 1, 2. To my people, yeah. You're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, and my truth. To my people, yeah. You're everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. You're my guide, you're my soul, you're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I bow down to your heart of gold. To my people, yeah. You're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, and my truth. To my people, yeah. You're everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. You're my guide, you're my soul, you're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. Bow down to your heart of gold. From the day that we were born and Mom hugged us with warmth, and we grew because we knew we had all your support. From the fams to the friends, your love was medicine. Keep giving us the strength to rise when we would sin. The knowledge of a pain. Oh, I forgot my lyrics, but it doesn't matter right now because the heart is flowing, and I haven't done this in a while, but I have to just bow down and freestyle because I love you all, and it makes so much sense that I can't give it back. It's not worth 2 cents but a million, and I love you a bunch and a billion, and I bow down to your heart of gold. Thank you. To my people, yeah. You're my your soul. You're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. You're everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah, yeah. God, you're my soul. You're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I bow down to your heart of gold. Last time to my people, yeah. You're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, and my truth. To my people, yeah. You're everybody, every being, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. You're my guide, you're my soul. You're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I bow down to your heart of gold. You're my people. See, and it's great to do that in front of your people.
You should forget your words more often. That was awesome. Wasn't that kind of exciting? I never saw you forget words before, but how did you manage to make coherent lines that rhymed out of that?
I don't know.
How does that happen?
But I should perform more often so I don't forget lines.
Okay. Okay.
I think my last show was a year ago.
Was it really?
Well, maybe 9 months ago.
Wow. I didn't know that. All right.
All right.
You know what's funny? When I first got hi everybody. When I first got, I wrote the water songs in Utah on a sabbatical. It was 11 years ago now. So January, February, March 2006, I was in Moab, Utah, in a rented house along a little creek with snow-covered mountains in the distance and neighbors a little ways away. And Moab I was about 2 miles out of Arches National Park and 20 miles out of Canyonlands National Park, but the entire area looks like a national park if you've ever been to that place.
He wasn't married at the time.
No wife, no baby, no mortgage. It was so, my life was so much emptier. But anyway.
I was going to say that again? So
emptier.
to Melina?
Super empty. Yeah, so 3 months I went and lived in this house, and I put I actually bought an upright piano from a little used piano shop in Grand Junction, Colorado, an hour and a half away, and had them deliver it to the living room of this house, and didn't know what I was going to do with that piano when it was done. But it's funny, we've never really talked about, see, when Nimo and I had met, I'd already been singing the songs a few years, and when I first got back, I didn't want to do anything. If you've ever heard the water songs, you know that it's very calm. And then when I started talking about my experience, the thing you just talked about, I've never heard you say those specifics, but I was stunned at the level to which the details that I had not worked out. And this entire, like that trip was a completely irrational decision for me. I'm a singer-songwriter, independent with my own record label, touring and singing inspirational music. So you do the math about whether I'm a millionaire. And I took 3 months and cleared my schedule. I'm fortunate singer-songwriter. I get invitations to sing all over the country, and I needed a break, and I didn't know why, and I needed quiet, and I didn't know why, but I just needed it, and partly because I was living in West Hollywood, which is the pit of despair for somebody who wants quiet. And so I cleared my schedule, which meant saying no to a lot of income that I needed, or thought I needed, and canceling a handful of gigs that I don't like to cancel gigs. I mean, it's my livelihood, and I love to do it. And so I cleared this 3 months, and that on its own didn't make any sense. Then I rented a house that I hadn't seen. I called on the phone and just said, do you have a house to rent? And she said, honey, if you're coming January 1st to Moab, you could drive through town, point at the house you want to live in, and it'll be empty. So I said, well, pick me out a house. And she said, okay, I'll pick you out a house. And there was just a whole series of decisions that made no sense, except that I was somehow sure that I suspected it would be fine. But mysterious things happened, like you described. Mysterious things happened all those 3 months. Like, for example, I sell CDs. A lot of bookstores sell my CDs. During those 3 months, wholesale orders doubled or tripled. I don't remember the exact number. But I had a very small amount of money set aside to sustain myself during these 3 months, and I didn't touch that money because of wholesale orders from people who didn't know that I wasn't performing. I didn't tell anybody that I was in Utah and clearing my schedule, but the community for whom I'd sung, I don't know how you'd describe it, rose to meet me, which is, I think, what your experience has been. Right? It rises to meet you where you're at. If, at least my interpretation is, if you're doing the true thing, right? Not if it's motivated by fear or expectation, and those of you who come here, you've heard me talk about this before. If you're motivated by what people tell you to do, or what you want to get credit for doing, or what you were raised to do, or what you think will get you the $1 million, or will get you the fame, or will get you the legacy, my observation is that's a strain, right? That's a never-ending labor. But if you're doing the thing that's true, it doesn't actually have to make sense. If you do it, I'm not saying the magic of the water idea is the switch you have to flip in your head is you do it not because it's going to work out the way you want it to, but that it's going to work out the way it's going to. And therefore you get where you're going without spending the in-between time worrying. And that time, for example, on the piano, I had an upright piano in the living room of that house, and I wrote a song called I wrote 126 songs during that time, and the last song I wrote was on the last afternoon before I drove away. Not last song. That was song number 100. But the song number 126 was. I'm not going to sing it for you, but it was just a little bit from. I did it. I did. Faced my fear and made it. Took the leap of faith and landed on my feet. And I cried while I wrote that song. I was so proud of the leap of faith, right? More than anything. I had walked into the Moab Community Arts Center the day before and said, I got a little situation. I have an upright piano in a house I've rented, and I don't have anything to do with this piano, but I need to sell it, or I need to do something with it, because the people who own this house probably aren't going to be thrilled when they come back and there's an upright piano in their living room. And the woman said, does it play well? I said, it's lovely, simple, inexpensive, got it from Grand Junction, played it for 3 months. And she said, okay, we'll buy it. And I said, okay. And she said, when are you leaving? I said, tomorrow. She said, okay, we'll pick it up from the house the next day. We know the people who own that house, no problem. And it was like that, right? Things just worked out consistently for the 3 months and for so long after. And it is hard to practice. We've never talked about that either, but yeah, I mean, I've said here many times, I am a hypocrite and a half if I were to profess that I'm a master of surrender. I was way better at it 11 years ago when it was fresh and when my brain was calm, and before the mortgage and so on, certain earthly things laid themselves over Danny's brain. But anyway, so fast forward to now, and this song happens to have my only rap guest artist on it. It's the title song from an album that came out now, but it's still my most recent album, but it came out a year ago. And Nimo happened to be in town, and I said, Nimesh, write me a rap, more or less, and he did. And he raps on it, and it's super awesome. Your part is the highlight of the song, but here we go. But we'll wrap it together. And this is very much a song about this faith and trust and community, really, if community is your cornerstone. I cannot build a castle or bridge. I cannot build a tower to the sky. I cannot build the humblest home without cannot sail the infinite ocean. I cannot climb a mountain alone without a cornerstone. Something solid, something true, something never moving beneath me, something ancient, something new, on which I can rest completely.
Yeah. Life ain't gonna stop, and either is the pain. Sometimes I get caught up, drowning in the rain. So my mind tries to take control again, but the bumps and bruises gives me adrenaline. The journey isn't known, and I've never had a plan. So I keep trying to get up with my own hands and my heart on my own, and keep coming back to my cornerstone.
Something solid, something true, something never moving beneath me, something ancient, something new, on which I can rest completely. I cannot go
Every time I feel lost,
where I've
every time I've
never
ever drowned, every time I get caught, my eyes on the ground,
do
every time I find
the work that's mine
around,
to
just
do.
gotta keep faith.
I cannot climb
Every time I feel
that
lost, every time I've ever
mountain
drowned,
alone
every time I get caught, my
without
eyes on
a
the ground, oh, I'm gonna find it and turn it all around. Just gotta keep faith.
I'll never know the meaning of home without a cornerstone. I'm not going to talk before this one very much because I talked too long already, which is my tendency. So, but we're going to talk a little bit about kindness. Nimo is, I already called him a humble guy, and he's also absolutely one of the most beautiful people I've ever known, and an honor for me to know, and that's the truth. And when I read that interview in which he said that a song I had written had inspired him to save lives as he has done. Yeah, you have. To save lives as he has done. I can't tell you. Imagine how you'd feel. That's how I felt. To find out that I had done something to help a guy halfway around the world who I'd never met to support kids in India. And by the way, are all 16 of those kids now still enrolled in private schools on scholarships?
Yeah, different journeys. Some are in college, some are in school, some are in graduate school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And now working at the Gandhi Ashram with an arts academy. Are you going to be talking about that at all? We weren't planning on it? Okay. Yeah, you just opened an arts program also at the Gandhi Ashram. And groundbreaking happens in 2 weeks.
For a theater that we're building.
An amphitheater that is being built at the Gandhi Ashram, which will hopefully be opened with a first performance on Gandhi's birthday on the 100th anniversary of the ashram that Mahatma Gandhi founded. And Nimo spearheaded that building of the amphitheater, the raising of the funds, the design of the amphitheater, and the building of it. And so you're looking at a guy who is decades ahead of his lifespan in legacy. It's really special to be on a stage with Nimo. So this is a song that I sang in the presence of somebody, of course, who knows Nimo and loves him. I didn't know that at the time. We just found that out 2 days ago. What is the name of the woman who puts the peace poles all over the world?
Oh, so there's this Peace Foundation
Use the mic. It's the first time on stage.
And a dear brother of ours, Nipun, who's in the Bay Area, is very close friends with this family, and they've become very close with all of us now. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen these peace poles around the
May peace
world.
prevail on earth.
It says, "May peace prevail on earth," in different languages, and they just focus on this prayer, this one and only prayer, and they bring tens of thousands of people together in Mount Fuji every year from all countries, and they have flags of each country, and they do prayer for each country. And then they also pass these peace poles out. And everywhere around the world, I've seen in almost every country I've been to, they have these peace poles there. Very powerful. And Dan really connected, I think, with
Well,
with the
her
family
story
there.
is amazing, and she's amazing, this woman. And yeah, they showed pictures. They showed a slideshow where May Peace Prevail on Earth poles are put up, and one of them was at Ground Zero in New York. One of them was in Bahrain. One of them was in Saudi Arabia at the United Nations. I mean, everywhere in the world. It's just a stunning thing. And I was so moved by her story, and it was my turn to sing when she was done, and at this conference in San Diego maybe 6 months ago or something. And the song I sang was this. So the question becomes, where do we start? How do we heal so much pain? The answer is clear. We open our hearts and let love wash away every stain. 'Cause peace in our time begins with a smile, with one open hand. And when we teach by example, the world is sure to understand. That we are all children of the God of love. We are all meant to be instruments of peace. There's no us or them, foe or friend. We are all the same. There is only one, 'cause everyone is born with God's name. So the question, when I watch the news, it makes me cry for all of the anger I see. So many souls believing the lie that hatred is all they can be. So I take the chance to offer my prayer, to whisper the truth. And I believe today is the day that my message gets through. That we are all children of the God of love. We are all meant to be
Thank you, Dan. As Dan was singing, when Dan sings, I think you just go into a trance. I was thinking of my sister Colleen here, who spent quite a decent amount of time in Standing Rock. For all of those that know what was going on there over the past, I don't even know how many months and how long it's been. And we're talking about prayer and how the family that went there and trying to support the Native American community that was going through and is still going through this struggle. And the response was just of love, and she was sharing some stories. I haven't had a chance to get all of them yet, but every form of protest, every form of nonviolent, action that they took was based in prayer. And it's so powerful to hear this because it's very rare to see this nonviolent action in modern day. And we hear about it through the civil rights movement, we hear about it through Mahatma Gandhi, we hear about it through Nelson Mandela stories, but modern day movements of nonviolence are very, very rare to hear, and people that actually sacrifice and stand by it. And so I just feel so honored, Colleen, by you and just by all of our family out there that is committing their lives in a whole different way that sometimes I feel like Dan's saying I'm saving lives. I'm not doing anything. That's very humble and loving of him to say it from that perspective. But I just feel like there's so many people out there, and all of us in different ways are sacrificing. But I think that's the one thing we do see is that those human beings that have done amazing work have been based in courage and kindness. These two things have been the foundation of the good work that has been there to help uplift or help remove destruction and darkness. And without both of those, courage and kindness, I think it's impossible to make significant change. And I think what people are doing there, whether they're successful in saving their land or not, is not even the question, but the legacy they leave in nonviolence, in love, in compassion, and courage is, I think, the seeds that are really being offered to all of us. So I wanted to share a song. It's called Being Kind, and it's a very simple message. I feel like we all have access to doing good in this world, and it has nothing to do with going halfway across the planet to serve with children in the slums. All it has to do with is doing our little part wherever we are. And that we all have 100% access to. Whether we're in our friend circle and we're gossiping about others and saying that, or we're bringing out love instead and light into the conversations that we have. Whether we're being rude to somebody or we're being compassionate for their differences. Whether somebody does something towards us and how we respond to that with love instead of irritation or anger. To me, this is the kindness that will shift the world. Because it's a kindness, it's a consciousness that we need to shift in ourselves first. And I think having this type of community is the only way we're able to do it. Because we inspire one another and we show each other our blind spots. So this song is dedicated to that. It's called Being Kind, and may we all continue to offer our small acts of love in our own ways.